For years, T-Mobile built its reputation around wireless service. Now the company is investing heavily in fiber through new joint ventures involving i3 Broadband, GoNetspeed and Greenlight Networks. T-Mobile is expanding its fiber footprint into additional markets across the country. Reuters reports the effort could add a lot more homes to the network, and T-Mobile isn't alone. Across the telecom industry, carriers are investing heavily in fiber infrastructure while expanding the number of services they offer customers. Today, we're looking at T-Mobile's fiber expansion, what AT&T is doing in fiber, and why carriers across the industry continue making large bets on broadband infrastructure.
The dealer download powered by RS&I.
The telecom industry has spent years talking about wireless growth.
Introducing my faves from T-Mobile with any network calling. Unlimited calls to your 5 favorite people on any network. T-Mobile, stick together.
Faster networks, more coverage, more devices, more data. But behind many of the industry's biggest announcements lately, another trend keeps appearing: fiber. T-Mobile's recent expansion plans are simply the latest example. The company is using a series of joint ventures and partnerships to expand its fiber presence into additional markets while increasing the number of homes it can potentially serve. For authorized dealers, this matters because T-Mobile fiber is now becoming part of the broader dealer conversation, and it raises an important question. Why are wireless companies investing so heavily in fiber infrastructure? I'm your host, Michael Schifferdecker, and this is the Dealer Download powered by RS&I. Let's take a closer look at why fiber has become such a strategic priority throughout the telecom industry. T-Mobile's latest fiber initiative centers around partnerships with i3 Broadband, GoNetspeed, and Greenlight Networks. According to reporting from Reuters, these agreements are expected to expand fiber availability by more than 1 million homes. The move follows a broader trend inside the telecom industry. Rather than building every mile of infrastructure themselves, companies are increasingly using partnerships, joint ventures, and acquisitions to accelerate expansion. For T-Mobile, the goal appears straightforward: expand beyond wireless, increase broadband reach, and create additional opportunities to serve customers across multiple services. That strategy is becoming increasingly common throughout all of telecom. T-Mobile may be generating the headline today, but it is far from the only company investing heavily in fiber. AT&T continues expanding its fiber footprint across the country and has repeatedly identified fiber as one of its primary growth priorities. The company has publicly discussed reaching more than 60 million fiber locations by 2030 through a combination of organic expansion and strategic partnerships. Fiber has become a central part of AT&T's long-term growth strategy. What's interesting is that this comes at a time when much of the industry is also retiring old copper infrastructure. For years, the expectation was that wireless would eventually replace many of the physical connections that powered communication networks. Instead, investment has returned to physical infrastructure. The copper networks of the past are being retired. The fiber networks of the future are being built. In some ways, history is repeating itself. The technology, the bandwidth, the capabilities have changed, but the industry once again finds itself investing heavily in physical lines, connecting homes, businesses, and communities. When you step back and look at the broader industry, a pattern starts to emerge. T-Mobile is investing in fiber. AT&T is investing in fiber. Regional providers are investing in fiber. Investment firms, they're continuing to branch out into fiber as well. These are long-term infrastructure decisions that require substantial capital commitments. Companies are making these investments because they believe demand for high-capacity broadband infrastructure will continue growing for years to come. Many consumers think of fiber and wireless as competing technologies. The telecom industry increasingly sees them as complementary technologies. Wireless networks rely heavily on fiber infrastructure behind the scenes. Every cell tower needs connectivity. Every 5G deployment requires data to move across transport networks. Every increase in mobile usage creates additional demand throughout the network. As wireless traffic grows, fiber becomes increasingly important. That helps explain why companies known primarily for wireless service continue investing heavily in fiber infrastructure. The industry is no longer choosing between fiber and wireless. Increasingly, it's building both. There is another trend happening at the same time. Carriers are increasingly focused on building broader customer relationships. Not simply selling a single product, but creating opportunities to serve customers across multiple services. Now, that could include wireless, fiber internet, business solutions, smart home services, home internet. A household that purchases multiple services often becomes more valuable than one purchasing only a single product. That helps explain why carriers continue investing in both infrastructure and service expansion simultaneously. The object isn't necessarily more customers. It's deeper customer relationships. Most households don't think in terms of telecom products. They think in terms of needs. They have a budget for their phone line, a budget for the internet, a budget for entertainment and security. The opportunity comes from serving more of those needs instead of competing for a larger share of a single budget. For authorized dealers, the takeaway isn't necessarily about any single company. The bigger lesson is watching where the industry is investing. Pay attention to new fiber deployments, expanding service areas, bundling initiatives, infrastructure announcements, even emerging market opportunities. Infrastructure investments often provide clues about where future growth may occur, and they can help dealers identify opportunities before markets become overcrowded. Here's your authorized dealer action plan based on what we're seeing across the telecom industry right now. First, stay informed about infrastructure expansion in your markets. New fiber deployments often create new sales opportunities. Second, understand how multiple services fit together. Customers increasingly evaluate providers based on overall solutions rather than individual products. Third, pay attention to bundling strategies. Many carriers continue building relationships across multiple services. Fourth, watch long-term investment strategies. Infrastructure investments often reveal where companies see future growth. And number 5, continue learning about emerging service offerings. The telecom industry continues evolving, and dealers who understand those changes are often positioned to take advantage of new opportunities earlier. T-Mobile's fiber expansion is part of a much larger industry trend. wireless companies are increasingly investing in fiber. Fiber providers are expanding service offerings, and carriers across the industry are building broader customer relationships through multiple services. The telecom conversation is no longer centered on wireless or fiber. More often, it's becoming wireless and fiber. And the companies investing heavily on both may be providing an early look at where the industry is heading next. I'm your host, Michael Shiverdecker, and this has been the Dealer Download, powered by RS&I. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow the Dealer Download for future discussions on telecom, technology, and business growth. To learn more about becoming an authorized dealer for products including AT&T wireless and fiber, also fiber for T-Mobile, Brightspeed, and Quantum, be sure to visit rsiinc.com. That's rsiinc.com. We'll see you next time.
The Dealer Download, powered by RS&I.